Hi guys, let me get settled. So it's been 5 years since I actually wrote and completed anything. The first thing I completed was my novel, but it's been 5 years, so now what? So that I won't have any more regrets. I'm already in my 30s, so I have to get the ball rolling. I want my stories out there. I want to be alive while they're out there, and I want to enjoy the rest of my life. I have 5 stories to tell, 2 novels, 2 limited series, and a movie. That hopefully I can work with Netflix. That's my favorite streamer for most of them. So this November I plan on completing my outlines and my treatments for my screenplay. So what am I actually going to do? I actually wrote this down at work, so I'm just going to read it because my brain is not computing right now. Like I wrote it down because I knew it's weird that I can have all the inspiration in the world and I can just talk and my words can just flow. But as soon as I sit down for the camera, it's crazy how my mind just goes blank. So that's why I wrote it down. Okay. So bear with me. Okay. I have 5 stories to tell, 2 novels, 2 limited series for hopefully Netflix. And I'm doing this so that, and I'm also doing things for because I want my stuff on Netflix and or whoever's going to acquire my work and I want to be a producer on 2 of them. I'm doing certain things to accomplish that goal, especially with screenwriting. I'm just going to tell you guys now. Um, I'm also doing the not only mood boards, not only it's not mood boards. I'm just going to keep reading. A vampire or a fae story. That's the movie. I'm writing a novella. I'm going to self-publish it, but that one that deals with like K-pop. There's this specific Korean drama called Lovely Runner that really triggered me and that I hate it. I've been watching Korean drama since 2009. So I've seen the evolution of dramas and where they came from. This one just it set it back. The first few episodes are great, but as we go on more and more, especially it's because it's about a K-pop star who ended his life. One of my favorite K-pop stars. He did the same. He's a part of this group. If you know, you know. And it really triggered me that they did not write it well and it was just so much about the girl more than it was about the guy who she was supposed to be saving. It really pissed me off. I watched the first, but by the time I got to the 5th episode, I was like, I can't do this. I looked at my friend. After that, we skipped to the last 2 episodes and she was still talking about the same dumb shit. And I was like, you know what? No. So I was already planning on, I have 25 pages. I have 25 pages of notes for that. So that's why I was like, I'm just going to probably write that. I might self-publish it as a novel or I'm going to like just put it on Wattpad or something. Because I want that story out there and in a better way of the girl actually focusing on the guy, you know? Stupid. Anyway. And there's this other novel that I'm writing. The first novel that I wrote, here's the book cover to it. I hope you guys can see it. This is the book cover for it. That's actually like a part of the book cover. Here's the other. Ignore my apps. Like I know you can't really see it, but this was like the front of the book. But I know you really can't see it. By the time I finished it, I was like, this book feels out of date. But my friend called me one day and she was like, you should still finish that novel and publish it, even if you just self-publish it, because it's still relevant to this day. And a lot of elements of it is really good. So that's why I was like, you know what? I will. So that's one of the things I'm going to work on. So I'm probably going to reiterate some stuff I already said, but so where do I start? For Nano, I'm planning on, I know Nano is canceled, okay? But for Nano, I plan on outlining my stories and a reread to the book that I already wrote to make revisions. There are a lot of things, especially, I think I'm actually going to take out the first 4 chapters of that book because even when I reread it, I don't fully get into it until the 4th chapter because this kind of like an action scene. But with that, I love the first 4 chapters. It's like you're getting to know her personally, but I feel like I can switch some of the elements of those chapters over into later chapters of the novel. But also right now that novel is not in Scrivener. It's in, I don't have Scrivener yet. I'm going to buy it. But right now it's just in Word. So because I have ADHD and that's why I wrote this down. But because I have that, I'm going to let Word read it to me. I wish I can just like capture it on my computer of it reading the entire book, because right now it's maybe like between 50 and 80,000 words. So I was like, if I can just record the audio of that and put it on my phone or one of my devices and just listen to it. I wish I can do it that way, but I feel like I'm just going to craft stuff. I might record that for future vlogs of me just handcrafting little trinkets that I make and me doing other little stuff while listening to it. And I'll even let you guys listen to some of it, like not the top tier scenes, but you know. So I'm fine with that. I would try for like 2 months to get that one self-published. I mean, traditionally published if I can get an agent for it. But if not, I'm just gonna publish it because I already have my own book cover, and I love, especially the blue one. I'm gonna have to. It's on my lock screen, and like I just love this book cover. So I think everything is gonna work out, and it's 333. So all of my things are gonna do very well. And for the rest of my life, all my plans for the rest of my life is going to do well and be as I want them. And on top of, like, for a personal goal, I want to start dating in 2025. Although I am in my 30s, I really have never dated, and I did not realize once you get in your 30s, it's like you do have a ticking clock for kids and stuff. So although I know people in their 40s have kids or even start having kids at late, like 39, 40. So I'm good with that. But as long as I have healthy children, at least two, three, I'll be fine with that. Marriage is the goal, but guys these days, you know. But there are a lot of guys who want marriage and who are loyal. So I'm looking forward to that. So now how sorry y'all, I have dyslexia too. So now how will I go about accomplishing this? First of all, let me talk about, I don't know if I should make this in a separate video, but I will talk about it here. And if you guys think that I should make a separate video for this, let me know. But I wrote down an overheard conversation. I know exactly what I'm talking about. So in my book, there's a conversation that when people read it, my friend looked at me, she was like, take that out. And the reason why I put it in there is because remember everybody was checking boxes. People at that time when I was writing it, people were wanting more exposure and more diverse people in books. I was the person, I was never mad at those white ladies when, you know, there was all the rave on their books and they were just really popular. I was never mad at them for not writing black people in there or other people, because clearly they did not have black friends. Or if they put a black person in there, it was a caricature. I know we as black women, we write like an angry black woman, but it's validated because we actually know the certain triggers for black women. So when a white person does it, I hate the way it comes off. So I was never mad at that fact because I grew up in watching 90s and early 2000s and 80s movies, because there were a lot more representation as far as media, films, and TV shows. There were, like, nowadays it's scarce for some reason. I feel like even black people don't know what to do, or in Hollywood they're just not green lighting the proper black material. It's still, I don't like it, especially when it has to do like thug and hood stuff. Still, I'm like, just like, I know some of it's really good. A lot of people tell me those shows are good, but I personally, I've seen enough of that. I want to see fantasy and sci-fi, which in the 80s and 90s, there were a lot more sci-fi heavy, like everybody was in there. So I don't know where Hollywood comes across to where, oh, we need to be more diverse. Hollywood has always been diverse. There have been every ethnicity and every sexuality in these movies. So I'm just like, what the hell? Are people in Hollywood, if y'all didn't grow up with movies and you talking all this bullshit, or even like a lot of gay people in Hollywood now, I feel like they didn't grow up with movies. So what the fuck are you talking about? And I'm saying all of that to say I wrote in the scene, like, it was her friend. She's a cop. Although it's a sci-fi. She's a cop. It makes sense. But her friend is a cop. She just actually on a date. She's there sitting with her online swiping date guy, and she overhears a conversation of where somebody is talking about their sexuality. I don't know what I gave them. Probably, I don't know if it was bi and somebody else was like pan or some shit. And then my friend was like, take that out. It took me out of the story. Now, the reason why I wrote that in the story is because when you go out, I'm a person, I listen to people conversations because I'm nosy. And also, as a writer, you should be listening to intruding into people's conversations. So I wrote that because you hear all kinds of things. And I heard a conversation like that. Actually, it's always a conversation like that, whether I was downtown Atlanta or in a coffee shop with this white dude talking all crazy and mad at somebody. And I was like, those conversations are real, but because none of my main characters are outside of the cop is bi and she only talks about it. She never like interacts with the girl in the story fully, like full on. But at the end of the day, if you put something in just to appeal to other people who are going to be interested in your story anyway, no matter what ethnicity or sexuality somebody is, the story, if they like the story, they're going to watch it. Period. They're going to watch it, they're going to read it. Like if you pander to people or you're putting it in there so you can get more eyes on your book. But if you just have a great book, movie, TV show, people are going to like it anyway. I do not like boy love stuff, but I watched Interview with the Vampire. I seen a movie back in the day. So I was like, I'm going to give this a chance because the black guy who's in there, he was in another movie that was based off of a book series. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. But you know the black guy who's in Interview with the Vampire, he was great. He's a great actor. So I was like, I'm going to give this a chance because of him. Just because I don't like boy love, I'm still going to watch it for him. And he just has the person, like I like certain personalities if you're a gay guy specifically because of stuff in the past. But I was like, he seems cool. He's a great actor. I'm going to watch his stuff. So I did. Interview with the Vampire is top fucking tier. The acting from the main three vamps, top tier, bro. And I was like, the writing, the setting, the tone, the production, the music, the action scenes, everything in that show was what I love for a show. You made it a show. Yeah, it was about them being gay. You know what? Even though it was about them being gay, it did not feel icky like how a lot of these new age Hollywood stuff, even like the Acolyte, they was so heavy handed on that. And they just literally made Interview with the Vampire a freaking show that I love. Like I said, I like vampires, I like sci-fi fantasy. If it's good, it's good. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I forgot. Oh, I said that all to say I have to take out the conversation in the novel. Is literally like, it's probably a freaking a paragraph or two, but I'm taking that out because my friend was like, it doesn't even bring anything to this. I'm taking it out. And if it's not going to be natural, I'm not ever checking the box. That's what's wrong with Hollywood. They're checking boxes. So stop checking boxes. If it's not natural to your story, don't write it. There's a lot of gay people and others who going to write their own story. I'm writing a story for it's not just for black women. As a black main character who most of my characters are emo, I'm the type of girl I grew up listening to every single genre of music. So there's a lot of different black personalities that are not represented. And it's always angry black woman, the sad black woman, which my characters are too because of the way black women grew up. But you have to put the emo, the rock, So I don't ever really see those elements, or even to mention songs and truth and authenticity. So that's what I'm hoping to go for with my stories, of every single genre of black person I want to be represented. So that it's so weird to me that people are like, I've seen videos of Asian and white people talking about black people like anime. I'm like, bitch, we grew up watching Toonami, just like everybody else. I don't know why. It's like, that's why I hate where Hollywood is with certain a lot of black characters. Every ethnicity likes the same shit. So why are you surprised or shocked? That stuff like that pissed me off. I would never go to an Indian person and be like, "This Indian person likes anime? The fuck?" And I love Bollywood films as well. So, wow, that went somewhere. So just be authentic to who you are as a writer and as a person. If there is the opportunity for you to be more diverse, as far as like my book is super diverse. I think there's too many characters. Like there's a lot of ethnicities in it because there is a secret society. And if you're trying to help the world, there has to be every single ethnicity in it. And one of my TV shows have damn near every single ethnicity in it because it's about a job and somebody overcoming stress, trauma from working. Like it's but my personal experience and a lot of other people's experiences around me, but it's based off fantasy and sci-fi. That and it's going to be really cool and based off truth. Until we get to like the last episode where this shit just goes off the rocker. If you like season, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's like certain elements of Rick and Morty. That's where we're going with this, the last episode, bro. And the next part of the book is going to be you mostly have this lesson when you're reading out loud. So like your brain and your mouth doesn't work well together. Oh, I just didn't write it correctly. It's the person I killed in a novel had people feeling a certain type of way when they had to continue reading. So I killed this person, and then even when I wrote it, I knew how people would feel because that character is based off a real life person who died early. So you can't really control death, but it is a difference in the story. Like people fell in love with this character and you just kill them off. But isn't that the thing though? When people want characters to die, even main characters to die, but when it hurts, it like hurts people. It works differently in a novel versus in a TV show. Let's say I didn't really watch Game of Thrones, but let's say Game of Thrones, let's say your favorite character of whatever show you loved, and they just die. Or even like the Asian dude who I didn't really watch Walking Dead either, but when the Asian guy died in that and people felt a certain type of way and everyone was crying, that's the feeling that it gave people. It was like, this can't be true. Because you know when you're reading a novel, because I write sad, I can write sadness. That's what I wanted to talk about. I can write sad. A lot of authors can't. What I truly mean by that is that I'm sure most of you read way more books than I do. But the books that I read and listen, well, mostly listen to, I don't know when the last time I actually read a book, but the ones that I listen to, I haven't really felt true sadness. It's probably just the books that I'm reading. So if you have any books that made you guys feel really sad and just cared for the characters, especially either, it doesn't even matter the genre, but just a really sad scene, because the sad stuff I watch is like usually in anime and Korean dramas does sadness very well. Not all of them, but a lot of them do sadness justice and just to have you in the emotions. But I'm sure that has a lot to do with the actors, the writing, when the music just swells and just all of those elements put together with the cinematography, the color coding of it. And it's just stuff like that. So I am writing a novel and I'm writing shows. So it's just truly a difference in media with sadness. But if you write the right words, it doesn't even have to be fancy writing, because I don't know what section of the video this is, but if I already read that piece from my book, I was so excited because of the context of everything else that happens before that. And then that's not even near the climax. That's just, well, I guess it is near the end, but it might be a few more episodes until the big action scene and when everybody's just an epic war type of thing. I just wanted to put that in there in case I offended anybody because I know some authors say, oh, it's really sad, but it just depends on what people live through. And if it's not truly sad to some of us, especially the emo of us, or we just experience some unfortunate things because life can be unfair, but hopefully all of our lives are just better than the current circumstances. So that's why this insert exists right now, because I don't want to offend anybody, because I can be kind of harsh, especially with my words, but I'm really just talking and just take what I say with a grain of salt, because I can seem like I am an asshole. Let's be real, but it's because I've been through a lot of shit, and I don't really want to sugarcoat anything. But I can have a conversation. But in this day and age and element, people get real sensitive for no damn reason, or they don't even know how to regulate their emotions and to have an actual conversation. So, and especially with sadness and feeling ignored. Again, that's why this insert exists. Now, continue on. So when you hear authors say, "Oh, this is really sad," in your mind it's sad, but in your words it's not. And if you know, like I said, I grew up kind of emo, like very emotional, probably because I'm a water sign. But if you never felt that shit, it's probably not gonna go off well. I wrote two different versions of that because I killed someone else who's really close to the main character, and I was like, this would work off better for the book as a whole, although the first person I killed is more gut wrenching and it's just like, why am I continuing to read this? But I wrote that because nobody can control death, unfortunately. Like, some people die early. I hope I live a long life, but and that's why I'm like, I don't want to have regret. So I'm trying to do my 5 stories because I feel like people, you don't have to be in Hollywood long to tell great stories. You can be in and out. You know what I mean? So that's why I also think there's just room for everyone. And that's why Hollywood looks like how it looks, because there should be more space for other people and fun. So yeah, I'm going to just kill the other person because when the people looked at me, when they looked at me after they read that part, and then it was like, why should I keep reading? And then it was like, it worked out in the end, but can y'all help me out? How would you feel if it was just so sad and you couldn't believe that the person died, but you had to keep reading? But that's what I mean by, if it was real life, you have to keep going in life because the world keeps spinning, baby. Life keeps going. And some people do stay in a certain parts of tragedy with like 5 to 10 years, and you just lose those years in your life, but you have to keep going. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I have to reread it and see how I actually feel. But my girl, the main character, she does get instant revenge, but there's still tragedy after that. You know what I mean? So that's why I really love that scene. So maybe I should go with my heart and not be logical, especially if I self-publish. I might leave that scene in. People are going to be they're going to be pissed. But I don't know. That was what in my heart at the time. So I already talked about my main story, which with the book cover that I showed you. I already talked about the K-pop story that I'm going to write. Well, that's probably, like I said, it's going to be a novella because I just want to get to the point. And I'm probably just going to, like I said, put that on Wattpad or actually make a small book and sell it if anybody wants a copy. And I have 2 limited series. Oh, I talked about the movie, which is going to be a vampire. Now I'm thinking about fairy, since vampires are now. It might be both. What about my 2 limited series? I already talked about one. The other limited series was the one about the people at the job working. So now let me tell you about my top tier, my favorite, my heart. All of these stories have my heart, but this one, top tier. So this one is basically a space opera, technically. Not really, because it's still on Earth. You have the different worlds that we're going to visit. You have the reincarnation on Earth that's going to occur. There's going to be lore. I want it to be lore heavy. And I'm not going to say the actual comps that I have for it, but I will say, if you've seen Agatha All Along, the way they edited the 7th episode, that's how most of the series is going to be. And then when we wrap up, that's how, like, that one main episode is going to be edited and written. I know what I want to happen, and it's going to be a lot. Everything makes sense. And when I try to explain it to people, like, should I explain it to you guys? Or I think I'm not going to do that because it's just too, like, for other stories, I can spoil stuff. But as far as this story, this is like my number one. I want to be a producer on this story. Because I want them to take me seriously, I'm going to do a lot of prep work because not only do I want to write the series, I want to be a writer on the series, and I want to be a producer slash maybe even a assistant director, because I want those hats: producer, director, writer, mood boarder, fashion costumer. Like I want to have all those hats on while I'm working. Obviously the number one thing will be writer, because it's like a movie in my head. It's like if you put anime love stories, it's not going to be about her blackness either. She is black, but it's not going to fully be about that. It's just going to be an epic story. Let's say if you dropped into, it's not going to be like this, but let's say there is an element I'm taking from this movie, which is the fifth element. Let's say you drop anybody could be those two characters, those two main characters. It wasn't about their whiteness. It was just two characters. So I'm writing a story like that. It's going to be a black girl and an Asian man. It's going to be Kim Namjoon on the slang. But yeah, they're going to be two different aliens, and it's going to have so many elements from, all of my shows have elements from anime and video games. I grew up with anime and video games. I grew up watching Asian movies. I grew up watching hella black movies, white movies, just a lot, like all of us have, really. Like I feel like if you haven't grown up with a super diverse media experience, I don't know, that's like weird to me. But so let me kind of break it down to you, or should I actually just read the synopsis? I'm going to read it for you guys because it's really cool. Well, that took a while. You see my beautiful computer, all of my stickers. But this is how my brain works, like this. Like that's why I'm writing 5 stories at the same time, because my mind is just, everywhere all at once. So I'm gonna read you this snippet I wrote. I came back knowing who I was, but the pain of this world numbed my desire. As with every death, I forgot who I was. I walked this world feeling alone, lost, not wanted, unloved. I can't believe I forgot about you. You didn't. That guy said that. You didn't. Our bond was never forgotten by your soul. You've been fractured by this world. The human body feels much pain. You felt the pain through all human generations of your bloodline, but it was you who reached out. Your soul cried out to us. So, I think that shit is so good, bro. So if anybody says that, I'm fucking gutting you. But that is the girl and the guy talking to each other. So that gives you a version. Well, no, I guess that would be the tone of the book. And I'm going to read you guys this part of the TV show. Although when they're aliens, she's probably going to be around my skin tone as far as like when she's in real life. Let's say maybe even Orion Destiny, and I want her to be darker, like a lot of dark skinned black people on her alien planet, and the Asian guy is going to be like the Asian people and white people and other people are going to be different aliens. I don't want all of their skin tones to be similar to their human counterparts, because all of the different worlds are the different people. And are you probably going to say, well, who's the enemy? That's why I had to make 2 different sets of white people because it's not like a world against the world, aliens against aliens. It's about just this family against family. It's not about race against race. So that's why I was like, well, a lot of white, especially the white dudes, they complain about, oh, it's always a white guy that blah, blah, blah. But I'm just like, so that's why I made, it's going to be a set of white people, probably blonde hair, blue eye, like the Pleiadians. If y'all, some of y'all get where I'm going. And other people are going to be emo, because I was like, when I'm writing this, I'm thinking about cosplayers. So that's why. Because that's why I want to be a part. The word I couldn't think about was storyboard. I'm going to storyboard this show. I'm going to, for the director, the producer, everybody, there are already snippets of TV shows and movies and anime and Korean dramas that specifically mesh well with this story. All of the elements come together to make this, so that everyone knows exactly what we're doing, So when we get the budget for it, we're not going over budget. We already know. And if there are things going to change, it might be slight. But I fully know the story. This story is me. So did I even finish reading, y'all? Anyway, that's that story. But now, if you guys actually stayed this long, I'm going to read you my novel as soon as I freaking find it. I'm going to read you the. See, I hate when words escape me, but I guess that's why I'm a writer, because when I speak about a story, yes, I can fully explain it, but how my mind works, I literally will start talking and I will cut it off to go somewhere else. And I've noticed that, especially doing my movie commentaries. I'll link that channel below. It's just and you see how I just stop, like I finish your damn sentence. But oh my god, I haven't laughed like that in so long, so I know this is where my heart is. These 5 stories is where my heart is. So let's go ahead and begin. Okay, I found a synopsis. I just had to go to my old emails that I sent people when I was first in a book community, letting people read my synopsis. When you know the truths of the world, anxiety hovers over you while fear creeps in and a panic attack is waiting to consume your sanity. That's in like it has those little squiggly lines on the start and at the end, and then the synopsis, like I guess it's like a quote or an omen, and then the synopsis read: in the near future, 22-year-old Winter dreams of finding a purpose to diminish her self-destructive thoughts. That dream drifts away when her mother pressures her to get a job or to work at the hospital where she spent most of her childhood. In a night of celebration for her best friends, she meets Elijah. I know I'm gonna change the names Winter and Elijah. I feel like that's like been overused. But for my book, it makes Winter is staying the same, but maybe Elijah will change. But anyway, in a night of celebration for her best friend, she meets Elijah. A night of dancing leads to an intense conversation about her past that ripples into her future. Elijah recruits her into Obsidian, a network of highly skilled operatives around the world. During initiation, Winter learns that it's not actually okay. My bad. During initiation, Winter learns that the requirement of microchip implants is closer than expected. She trains in a virtual simulator in an alternate reality program. Winter learns to live life without hesitation, but she can't escape fate. Winter has a chance at finding love and new relationships, but learning about the truth of the world while trying to save what little freedom its citizens have can take a toll on anyone's mental health. I was in a dark spot when I wrote this story, so like a lot of scenes are fucking like when I write something sad and dark, I want that shit to drag you down into the depths of your soul, your emo ass self. That's why people, when I wanted to hear criticism, nobody ever criticized the emotional parts of the story or the action. So I think I'm great on that. And this book, now I'm actually really excited to continue reading. But that was a little snippet for those of you who actually stayed the entire time. Don't steal my shit, bro. I'm gonna beat your ass, bro. You know what I'm saying, bro? But as far as an entire story, it's so much greatness within this novel that I just need to sit down and actually focus. So please subscribe. Don't ever say this on my other YouTube channel, but subscribe to know more about these stories. I think if you into sci-fi and fantasy, no matter who you are, you're gonna really enjoy this story. If you play video games, watch anime and certain Korean dramas, like the top tier, not the okay ones, you're gonna really like all of my stories. And I'm determined to change my life, and I wanted to write my way out of this hell. So yeah, stay tuned for great things. I'm going to try to upload weekly, even if it's a 1 minute or 5 minute video. I'm getting a video up to just talk about what I'm doing. Oh, and that's I don't think I explained this, but as far as like how I'm going to work it, every week I'm going to work on a different story, and if I'm hoping to finish certain ones are already everything is basically finished and outlined. I just have to organize it. and elaborate more on my projects. So until next time, it's been your girl Charity. Bye.